What's going on YouTube? Welcome to today's video. I'm going to be showing you one of my Q&As that I did live on my Instagram. Usually I do these on Tuesday nights around 8 p.m. If it's not a Q&A with a client, it's usually just going to be me doing a live Q&A. So me and Tommy worked together, probably started like 12 weeks ago. He gained, I believe, about 8 pounds. You can see his transformation right here. And he had fantastic results. I believe he gained about an inch on his legs, an inch or so on his chest, and also some size around the arms too. He's one of the more advanced clients that I've worked with that always struggled with that weight gain, so we worked together and of course got that accomplished. He also works a physical job as a mechanic, so that was another kind of thing that we had to work around. So I hope that anyone who struggles with their weight gain or maybe has a very physical job, he should have some tips that are going to be able to help you overcome that added expenditure and get the results that you're looking for. So I guess without further ado, if you do want to join the program, the Healthy Flesh Prescription, fill out an application at hejnasty.com/coaching, and then we'll get on a call and see if it's a good fit for you. But for now, definitely check out this Q&A. I want to say thank you to Tommy, and I hope you guys enjoy this video. Again, I do these on Tuesday nights. So see you guys later.
Let's start things off. Just give us a quick intro. So I guess, what's your name? What's your occupation? What was your goal for the 12-week program?
For sure. So I'm Tommy. I'm a mechanic by trade, but I really wanted to dive into a program for weightlifting because I've always been super skinny. And I saw so many, just time after time, I see clients that you have trained and coached. And I'm like, man, 12 weeks. I'm like, that's more progress than I've ever made in my life. Like, I don't know how he does it. So I was like, you know what? I don't know. Maybe I'll give him a shot.
Awesome. I do really appreciate you, I guess, checking out the page and seeing the other clients and really reaching out and getting those great results, because definitely had a successful 12 weeks.
Right.
What I want to go into, and you kind of mentioned it, you've always been that kind of skinny kid. Me growing up, I was always the fat kid. So we come from different backgrounds, but kind of similar.
Mm-hmm.
So how were you with your fitness before the program? So how did you feel? Maybe what was your energy like at that time? So I guess maybe 12 weeks ago and beyond.
Right. So looking back to prior to the program, I definitely was lifting consistently. There was never a question about that. But the issues were my programming wasn't consistent. So I would go in and I would do whatever I felt like doing. You know, if I wanted to get that chest pump, I got the chest pump. Or if I wanted to get, not a calf pump, let's be honest, but any other pump. So I would go in, I'd lift, kind of do whatever I was feeling. Some days I had this consistent bro split anyways, but the frequency wasn't there. The nutrition was not there. My energy was poor because I definitely wasn't getting enough calories. So there's no way I could have grown because you're just translating energy, burning energy, and you're just constantly in a deficit.
Definitely. So I guess you kind of mentioned your frequency wasn't that high, your nutrition wasn't on point. So with your nutrition, I guess what was the biggest mistake you were making before the program?
Not counting calories.
Facts. Awesome. Yeah, that was kind of the post I made yesterday. That's the most that's the best factor to control if your weight's going up or your weight's going down. So we really zeroed in on that, and that's kind of how we got things rolling. So my next question is I guess you kind of mentioned it beforehand, but how did you find me?
For sure. I follow all the Fitspos that are on steroids. I'm just playing. No, but I follow a bunch of fit people that are not just okay, you can have a good body, but I don't care about that. I want to know that you're down to earth. I want to know that you're providing value. You always are putting out information that is I can apply it that day, that moment, and if I reach out and say, hey, Kev, I've got a question, you were one of the first people to respond, and you reached out and you sought out to me. So if you have a product, your best bet is to sell that product. So you coming forward to me, it was you know what, I'll give him a shot. He wants it. Is it worth it? So I heard your spiel and whatnot. Obviously, I'm sold.
Awesome. And yeah, I'm 100% with that. And anyone who wants to either build a following or even build some kind of business, making money is good, but the value always has to be there. You have to give free value to the people following you and give them a reason. If you have a great physique, you kind of teach people how you got to that point, because that's actually what's going to be applicable to those people. And that's what's going to help you grow over time. And also it kind of forces you to learn and make sure you know what you're talking about. So
Yes.
it's been good for me to make sure I know what I'm talking about, and then I can relay that to my clients. So my next question is, what made you decide to start? Maybe 12 weeks ago, what was that final straw where you're all right, we really need to get things going. We really need to get this started?
Yeah. It just comes down to I felt like I was spinning my wheels. Like I said, I'd be lifting, and I've lifted for probably 3 years consistently. But again, when you make 5 pounds a year gain, and then the next year 5 pounds. It's just like, it doesn't feel like I'm really getting anywhere. And then to go to this program and see people that put on, you know, a significant amount of weight or drop a significant amount of weight, and I know it's not just like unsustainable. I can tell that those people are like really actually following through with it and tracking it. So when I think after we talked, I was like, you know what, this is the structure that I'm lacking. This is what I need. It doesn't matter the money. I have to invest in myself. You have to want it. You either want it or you don't. So
100%, like you either want it or you don't. And like, that was kind of like the big make or break it is like, am I actually going to commit to this? Cause I mean, I've worked with a lot of people and it's like, there's two kinds of people. The people that aren't going to be successful are the ones that like, they get the game plan and they're like, I don't think that this is the perfect game plan. So I don't know if I want to get started. The people that get the amazing results are like, I don't care. I'm going to rely on you. I'm going to trust you. I'm going to go through with the program. I know there's probably going to be some screw ups along the way, but like, if you just put that effort in, like that's the people that get the great results. And like, you went at it with a lot of energy and you went balls to the wall. And that's why you look like the way you do now.
well, I appreciate it.
No problem. So what did you learn most over the last 12 weeks? So we'll start off like in terms of fitness. What did you learn?
I feel like my squat got better. I feel like I got better with like the fundamental movements. I learned how my body specifically reacts to frequency, and kind of how like with a bro split, you can, like I said, like you can make some progress. You know, it's there for the making. But when you hit arms 4 times a week, which sounds ridiculous, but you do that and you limit the volume, then the return, the law of diminishing return, like it kind of works in your favor because then you're constantly getting activation. So frequency has been such a key role for that.
Exactly. And like, as far as like I've read, like with the research, it's like if you hit your chest on Monday, and that's the only time you touch your chest, usually when you stimulate a muscle, it's going to grow for like 2, maybe 3 days. And then it's like, you're missing out on literally like 3-4 days of growth. So if you hit it at least 2 times a week, you're going to really be growing throughout the whole week. So you're not missing out on any time. And just because the arms, they recover a little quicker, we're going to keep hitting those arms because we want to get big, juicy arms.
I know. Week 1, I was like, I can't move on. What do you want me to do now?
These sets of 20 are killing me.
Yeah.
Awesome. So what did you learn? Also, you mentioned like what you learned about fitness and how like well frequency worked out for you. But maybe specifically, what did you learn maybe about yourself?
I learned that it doesn't matter how you're feeling in the day. Like it doesn't. Like once you go to the gym and you put your hands on the bar, it's a different experience. Even if you're like, I got a little bit of soreness, you're kind of just bitching out. You know what I'm saying? Like you either have a cold. Well, if every other day you have a cold, you're not going to get anywhere. So you have to eventually just say, shut up and just put your nose in it and just do it.
Facts. And like kind of you said that like especially if it how it relates to training, like not every day is like you're not going to feel great rolling out of bed every day. Like, and I even say this, like every morning I wake up at 4, every time I want to go back to bed, there's only like 5% of the time I'm like, all right, let's go get this bread. Let's go get to the gym. But especially like with nutrition, the long term, it's like, if you're always giving yourself that excuse, and like, we know when there's a legitimate excuse, but like say every birthday of your immediate family, your cousins, your friends, and if you're using those as an excuse to really fall off your diet plan, every holiday, there's still like flexibility that can be implemented to still traverse through these kinds of events.
Right.
So it's really, as you said, you just got to stick to it. So my next question is, where are you now? Well, actually, I want to talk about where you are physically, because what are you doing? No. Sorry. He just ripped.
Oh, man.
He's unwrapping a Christmas gift that I haven't unwrapped since Christmas. It's a humidifier. So I wasn't.
Oh, boy.
So I didn't get a chance to set up the humidifier, but that's home improvement coming.
For real.
So yeah, so what I want to talk about next is like where you're at physically. So we started the program and you were about 149 pounds. So through about 3 months, we put on about 8 pounds, a little bit aggressive. I would say 6, maybe 7 is where we want to be, but we put on 8 pounds. But also the reason being is you were pretty lean at the start. And honestly, you're an advanced trainee compared to a lot of people that I do work with. So that's why we gain a ½ inch on your arms, about 1 inch to your chest, about 1 inch to your thighs. For a lot of people, if you first start getting into training, you're going to get 2 inches in those areas, especially your first 12 weeks. And if you're in a calorie surplus, because you're a sponge at that point. But the cool thing is, and an awesome thing of working with you is you're advanced. So we saw like how much progress can still be made, even though you've got that quote unquote diminishing returns. over your training years, because it gets a little more difficult over time, and a little difficult for me after 10 years. But we talked about where you are physically now, but where are you at maybe confidence-wise, and maybe also, how would you say, like, confidence-wise and training?
Yeah, I mean, much more overall. I feel like I can step into really any of the compound movements, whether it be any of the big three, bench, squat, deads. And I really feel like I can get under the bar, and I'm not going to use ego weight. I'm going to really go in, and I'm going to have a good set because of that. I feel like when people ask me questions, I have confidence to answer what I know. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to go out and be like, oh, I know. But, like, anything that I have learned, I feel good. I know that it's information that is actually true. It actually works. It's actually applicable. And being super skinny to not, in a sense, more fit, if you will, you I don't know. You just take that and you're like, okay, like anybody can do this. Like, so anybody can look at me as a platform and say, like, what if he can do it? Then what does he know? So
exactly. And that's like the best thing I like to see is like people, like, especially where you're at, you're like, 12 weeks ago, I was, in your words, skinny, but I think you had a pretty solid physique. But then it's like, if I can go from there to here, that kind of shows, like, and that was 12 weeks. What can I accomplish in my whole lifting career now, knowing these things that are going to get me from point A to point B faster and really kick off my lifting career? And also getting that evidence-based kind of things, kind of strategy. So my next question for you, we're going to go into what your go-to meal is. But what I want to do before that, I think I have you, let me pull up. I want to show how far we had to dig in terms of your macros to get that weight gain. Because as we know, like, if you want to make a change to your body, there's going to be resistance no matter what. If you want to lose weight, you're probably going to be hungry at some point. If you want to gain weight, you're going to be stuffed at some point too. So I'm pulling up your meal plan right now. So the calories, so the calories that we were at was, so we'll go over the macros. So we went 80 grams of fat. We were at 400 grams of protein. That's
that trial protein for sure.
Dude, that would be a lot of protein powder. What is that? That's 16 scoops.
Holy shit.
But no, 400 grams of carbs, everyone. 400 grams of carbs, and 170 grams of protein. So that ends up being about 3,000 calories on the dot. The reason why fat was a little higher than sometimes is you should probably, as a coach or as someone who wants to gain weight, sometimes you're going to have to bring your fat up a little higher than you would like, just because it's a little less satiating per versus your carbs. Mm-hmm. Usually higher carbs diets are going to be a little more satiating, especially because you can fit in fruits, vegetables, more fibrous type foods. So that is where we had to push to in terms of calories. Of course, it wasn't 0 to 100. We incrementally worked our way up there when we got that resistance. But what was your go-to meal? Because I'm sure that you had to battle your appetite to get this kind of weight gain.
Yeah, absolutely. So in the start, I pretty much ate like the same thing for breakfast every day. It was like a protein source, whether it be like a shake or a bar. And then I had like peanut butter sandwiches and then stuff like that. I definitely have an appreciation for cooking and when I'm home. So, I mean, I hate to say it, but like, the frozen vegetables, because fiber, duh. Mm-hmm. Chicken breast. Personally, I like a tenderloin. I like something that's seasoned. And then, I mean, my carb of choice is pasta. I can never go wrong with pasta. I can eat it all day long. So for me, and if I'm going out, Chipotle, hands down. It's so macro friendly. It's so good. I could eat it every day.
Yeah, and also like something that I found out pretty recently. I never used to like have too much pasta in my diet just because you got to boil the water, then you got to cook the pasta. It takes some time, but it's a little expensive. But like they have microwavable like little bags of pasta. It's the lazy man's pasta. You can just pop it in the microwave, 60 seconds, and you got 2 servings right there.
So I may be every day.
Yeah, right. So I may be eating a little more pasta in the future, but I think a follow-up question that's very, very important for everyone watching right now, especially in terms of getting more chicken breast into the diet or chicken tenderloin. What was your go-to seasoning for your chicken?
I mean, everyone can do like salt and pepper. I think like a bouillon cube, like you get like the real broth flavor of it. But personally, I'm a hot sauce fiend because it's so low calorie. You don't have to. It's not something you have to really budget. You just throw it on.
Are you a Frank's Red Hot, Texas Pete,
Louisiana
Sriracha?
Till I die, Louisiana.
All right, I don't even have that in my fridge, so I guess I gotta stock up.
Sriracha is good for sure, but it just messes with my stomach. I feel like Louisiana's a go-to on eggs, on everything.
Louisiana's solid. I like Frank's. Frank's is like Ooh, and also some
You
good
put that shit on
Cholula.
everything?
Some things. Some
Okay.
things. Actually, my favorite seasoning right now, I got it for Christmas. And I think my mom probably picked it up at some like, I don't know, some like garage store or like dollar store type thing. But it's called, I think it's like Kickin' Chicken Finger Lickin' or something like that. And it's phenomenal. It's
That
on
sounds good.
Amazon. I saw it. It's
Okay.
so that's something to look at. Anyone looking for a good seasoning, I had it today. So back to the important questions. Actually, that was the most important question. But what was your go-to vegetable throughout the program? Because again, like you're fighting your appetite, and you're trying to eat a lot of calories. A lot of people forget about their vegetable intake and they let it fall by the wayside. What was a vegetable that you were easily able to incorporate into your diet while trying to gain weight?
For sure. For the sake of taste, I'm gonna go with spinach because I have spinach with almost every meal. But for the sake of like the bulk of vegetables, I have to go with like broccoli. I feel like if you cook it, I can eat broccoli again all day long.
Broccoli. Okay, yeah, and that's a really common one. I don't know why everyone likes broccoli, but I have it in my freezer too right now, so I can't talk against broccoli. But what was your favorite way to prepare broccoli?
Pretty much stovetop. Once you boil it, then you throw again like a little bit of salt on it, salt and pepper, and then you
You
feel like
boil it?
it's flavored. Yeah,
Okay, that's different. I like that.
I
So
do
salt and
everything
pepper?
stovetop. I don't know why, except for cooking the chicken, obviously. But
Oh, okay. Gotcha. All right, I'm gonna have to try some boiled broccoli. So that's a
yeah,
new one. All right, and what is so my next question is what is your best tip for other people that are struggling for gaining weight? What is your best tip to them to adhere to a higher calorie diet, maybe some kind of calorie amount that's not something they're used to?
right. Well, I think people get kind of carried away with like a meal prep. I feel like you need to find foods you like. I feel like you need to come up with a plan. So once you're like, hey, I'm gonna commit to this, like that's your thing, because you're either gonna do it or you don't. So you either commit to it, and then from there, you have to pick foods you like. You have to pick foods you can eat
Hmm.
pretty much every day, because even if you're like, oh, I'm not home, I can't track it. If you know more than likely how much it weighs and what it is, and you're serving, you get it every day. So
Hmm.
it sounds kind of boring, but you can like again, you can change the sauces, you can change like the side ingredients, but like having those staple meals, it really secures your macros every day.
Yeah, and I like what you said. It's kind of like you want to stick to your tried and true things because you get kind of comfortable with fitting those into your nutrition, also like understanding their nutrition profile. So like me, chicken breast is always on my rotation. Ground beef is always in my rotation. But kind of as you said, you can change the seasoning, you can change how you prepare it. You can marinate your steak in soy sauce and vinegar, and then the next time you can marinate it in. Actually, that's the only way I marinate mine. But you can find something else.
But somebody else
And
somewhere does it different.
exactly. So same thing with chicken. Like, what is it? Grill Mates. I use the maple one, and then I use this other seasoning, the kicking finger licking thing. But there's
Okay.
a variety of seasonings that you can use. But still, it's important to have those tried and trues. Like honestly, chicken breast has some of the best macros there are. But you got to be kind of versatile in grilling it, baking it. As Tommy probably boils it. Um, you got to find a way to make it work. So my final question. So anyone who has a question for Tommy, especially Tommy, did you say what you do for a living, just for
I'm
context?
a mechanic day in, day out.
Hmm. So yeah, Tommy has a pretty physical job. So also we had to push his calories a little higher because he's working throughout the day. He's moving around. So also I think if you guys have any questions for him, please leave those down below because this is probably as difficult as it gets to gain weight if you have that kind of physical job. But my final question that I have prepared is, what is your best tip for full? Damn it, Instagram's kicking us off in 2 minutes, but let's see if we can knock this out. What's your biggest tip to full-time workers that want to improve their health? What would you say?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, like, to make a long story short, it really just comes down to, like, you have to implement it in a way that you can actually do it. If you're not a morning person, like me, I'm never gonna wake up early at 4 a.m. and do it. Like, I just can't. So when I get off of work, I find a source of either caffeine or I find something that just, like, you don't make it a choice, and then you go in every day and you have something that will just kind of guide you through it. It doesn't have to be caffeine. It could be your music, it could be like an accountability. Like you talk to someone and say, hey, like you got to go do this today. So if you make it the same time every day, you don't give yourself a choice, then it's just part of your day, and it's not like will I do this? You're just gonna do it.
100% commit, and then also caffeine does help along the way. Instagram's kicking us out. We're gonna reconvene. All right, we are back. What is going on, everyone? So Instagram kicked us out of the last one. I think the limit on these is 45 minutes, but they don't like not let me do a second one. So we are back here. If you guys have questions for Tommy, please leave those down below. He should be joining us very shortly. Please have some questions. He was in a calorie surplus, working a physical job, had to eat a lot more than he was used to. So if you guys have some questions, please drop those down below. Elon, what are you doing? Hey, buddy. All right, everyone. Elon says hello. This is Elon the Pomsky, if you want to give him a follow. He is just causing havoc in the office. But I don't see any turds, so he's being a good boy. All right, we're bringing Tommy right back in. Let me go up here. Boom. Someone commented a bunch of eggplants. I appreciate that, Alanis. Lover95. What is up? Long time no see.
Hey, man. Good to see you.
Awesome. So if anyone has... Ooh, Alex is here. What's going on, Alex? All right. So if anyone has any questions for Tommy, especially, wow, we have 102 people in here. That's a lot. Wow. Okay, we're getting some good questions. So if you guys have questions for Tommy and how he gained 8 pounds, even though he had kind of struggled with gaining that weight, please drop those down below. But we got a good one. It looked like, before, I saw one in the last Q&A. How old are you was a question.
21.
Okay. And then they asked, are you foreign or domestic?
100% loyal USA, boy. No, I mean, I'm just born here, so that's what it is.
America.
From
All
India,
right.
farmland.
Where are you from?
Indiana. I'm from your coach's gym.
Indiana. All right, yeah. Training with Cliff and showing him how to train.
Yeah, man. He doesn't have biceps like me. He doesn't know.
You're damn right. So a question I have from Samuel Pyers. What was the hardest part of the bulk?
Yeah, I mean, again, it just comes down to like figuring out a way for you, whatever the easiest way is to put the calories in. And that's like, well, that doesn't help. But like for me, I put a lot of calories in my breakfast. I'm like 900 calories into breakfast. So that way, while I'm busy at work, I don't need to stop and eat every 10 seconds. Like I get my big meal in the morning, and then I have my big meal at lunch, and then I get another almost 1,000 calories in. And then when I come home from work, I'll try to eat something. I try to keep my appetite going. I find it's very hard if I go most of the day and do an intermittent fast, because then your stomach is shrunk. Then you're screwed. Yeah. There's no chance you can get your calories in. So you really got to start, wake up, be hydrated immediately, and then grab some food. Honestly, protein's good because I feel like it keeps me satiated. So even if I don't get another like type of calorie in the morning, if I have a protein bar and like my sandwich, I'm squared away.
Awesome. And I really like what you just said because it's literally the complete opposite I give to the people cutting. So it's kind of the complete opposite recommendation because I would say, if you are cutting, don't blow your load, don't blow your calories at breakfast because then you're just going to be really limited throughout the day, and it's really hard to like be like, all right, it's 11 o'clock and I have 1,000 calories left to eat, or 500 calories left to eat if you are female. Then it's really tough at that point to really like limit yourself from there. That's why I like intermittent fasting because if you're fasting in the morning, mentally it's very easy to kind of be like, hey, I'm really hungry, but I'm fasting, so this is expected. But in the way that like if you eat in the morning, then you already have kind of like your appetite's going. So Samuel also asked, as a fellow skinny dude, did you do any cardio?
Yeah, I mean, I implemented some. I like to stay fit. Like, I like to be healthy. So, like, I think we talked about it. Like, once a week or something, I would hit, like, the heavy bag. Not for a tremendous amount of time. I like hit cardio. I like get in, get out, go hard. It's just kind of like, it's literally exercising. Like, it's not, like, I don't do it for the calories. Like, I'm obviously under calories. But again, then you kind of have to even compensate a little bit more with calories. So cardio is pretty limited if you're on a bulk, but I mean, I'm not on like a dirty bulk. Like I was able to do what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you are like as you said, like if you are adding more activity throughout the week, you're probably going to have a higher weekly amount of calories. Or if you're doing more daily activity, like working a physical job, again, you're going to need more calories. But like all things, it's going to be pretty much controlled over time, especially like seeing where your intake's at. Then you just watch how your weight responds. Mm-hmm. So the next question we have from Jesse Rodriguez TV, how did you handle your sugar intake throughout the program?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I think around the holidays, I just died. Like, it was so bad. Like, I could, I know everybody in the program struggled, but like it's a real challenge in that specific time frame. But again, you got to go to those holiday events already have eaten something. Like you can't go in there starving, or you're just gonna freak out and eat everything you can. Sugar for me is a huge. I'm super sensitive. Like inflammation right away kicks in, so I'll know that my workout is sour because I got way too much sugar in.
Okay, yeah, and then also like in terms of like the sugar intake, for especially people that are bulking, like a lot of high sugar foods are going to be probably less satiating per calorie, and maybe you may need a higher sugar intake while you're bulking just because you need to get those calories in. And I know a lot of people resort to drinking more fruit juices, and that helps get those calories in. So sometimes you're going to see how you respond, and then in Tommy's case, if he finds that he's kind of like really sensitive to sugar, it doesn't really work for him too well, especially certain kinds of sugars, then you're probably going to want to avoid those ones. But it's going to be best to see how you individually respond to it. But also, like all carbs that you consume are going to become glucose in the end just through digestion. So really, sugar intake isn't the number one thing that you're going to really focus on, but total carbs, especially people that are diabetic, they focus on total carbs because it all becomes sugar in the end. It all becomes blood glucose in the end. We got a very important question from Pi Times 2. They said, Tommy, are you single?
I mean, yeah, man, I'm single as a mingle. No, yeah, not gay, but single.
You stud. All right. So if there are any pretty females out there, please hit up Tommy. But how to gain to get those extra pounds you need without getting fat? Can you take this?
Yeah, I mean, I think you did a good job of coaching me through this, but like it's about how quickly you're gaining weight, because you're not going to put on muscle mass in a week. If I spike up 6 pounds, I'm not like, Kev, I put on 6 pounds. Like, no, you put on 6 pounds of water weight and fat. You didn't do that. So slowly but surely, even I think what really discourages people is they'll look at their weight gain and you'll see like a spike and then a drop and then a spike and then a drop. They don't measure the averages. They're only concerned, well, day to day this is terrible. Well, look a month ago. You're more weight or you're less weight depending on what your goal is. So always progress over perfection.
Exactly. And yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself, honestly. And also, Tommy does have plans in the long term to start taking some clients of his own. So that is pretty cool. And I'm looking forward to seeing some of your clients and their success as well. But yeah, I couldn't have said it any better. You just want to take your time with that weight gain, just because, again, like muscle mass takes a little bit longer to – actually, we can't build that much muscle mass very quickly. So you want to just consistently give your body just enough calories to be in a little bit of a surplus, because whatever is – if you're that far over, like how much is needed, this stuff is all going to be body fat gained, because that's a quick storage that we can handle. So definitely control the rate, probably 2-3 pounds per month. We were a little aggressive, but 8 pounds is pretty solid for 12 weeks.
Right.
All right, we're going to close out with this final question, and then I have a question too. But
okay.
From Lead RX Ship, what was the key difference between what you were doing and what you learned from Coach Hedge? That's me. That creates your opportunity for success.
Right. I mean, again, having like, even if you're like an experienced lifter, like I lifted for a few years, I kind of know what I'm doing in the gym. You have lifted for years, you still have a coach. Like holding that accountability, there's always someone that's a tier above you, and having them as a resource, you're just constantly getting better. And like you have to be humble about it, because you have to admit when you're wrong. Like I don't want to hurt myself. So you always get better, and then you get better. And when you're held accountable, you're more likely to stay in that consistent range for a longer period of time. Some people count the days that they're consistent, but like when you're doing that, you're just doing it, for other people. Do it for yourself, and find a way to stay accountable, because that's huge.
Awesome. And again, like knocking that one out of the park. And also we kind of talked about this previous, and like this is kind of my standpoint with like almost any online coach. It's like you don't need a perfect game plan. You just got to you have to have some kind of like method of having a calorie deficit, getting active and progressively overloading. The number one thing that I do, and most coaches do, and even life coaches and stuff like that, my financial advisor, who is actually downstairs, is they hold you accountable to the goals that you are setting. So if I'm checking in with Tommy every week, I'm like, hey man, did you hit your macros, or did you only eat 1,000 calories a day? It's like, well, damn, I know I'm going to have to answer to this. So accountability is huge. And I love that you said that. So
Appreciate it.
I think that's pretty much all the questions that we're going to be taking for tonight. I want to say thank you so much to Tommy for joining us. And I do have one final question. Tommy, you just gained 8 pounds. You did your bulk. What is next for you? What are your future plans?
I'm trying to get strong, man. I think I'm just going to go straight up to the Powerlifting Association. No. I I really find that just learning everything about fitness, like all encompassing, like mobility is huge. It's the difference between being able to do a squat correctly and not. And I mean, obviously, like strength is very important. Any sort of progression, you're going to get stronger, and then, therefore you're going to get bigger. So I feel like just taking in as much knowledge as I can right now and just continuing to stay with it. That's all I want.
And I respect that as well, because like there's powerlifting that you can play with, there's CrossFit you can get into, there's so many different things you can get into fitness. But of course, for me personally, I always want to continue getting bigger, so I'll do some CrossFit with bicep curls on the side. But
oh yeah, arms every day.
That's, as we know, frequency with the bicep curls. So that's the number one takeaway for today. So again, thank you so much, Tommy. Do you have any final words that you want to say?
I mean, to literally anyone that's like, I don't want to go to the gym, or I don't think I should go to the gym, that's stupid. Go to the gym. Go work out at home. Like do something for you. Take one step. You will never regret working out. You'll always feel better all of the time. And if anybody doubts you, they're not working out. They're judging you. That's their wasted time.
And I think I heard a quote recently. It was like, if you're doing something that kind of makes you comfortable, if you have two choices and one makes you comfortable and one makes you uncomfortable, probably the uncomfortable one is what's going to make you progress. In the way that if you're sitting down on the TV watching Netflix and you could be working out and you didn't get your workout in, probably do the thing that's going to make you uncomfortable. Go hit some bicep curls.
Yeah.
All right. So again, thank you so much, Tommy, for joining me. Anyone, if you want to apply for the 12-week Healthy Flex prescription, I do have a link in my story. It should be over there. Or go to hejnasty.com/coaching. Again, thank you, Tommy. We're going to be heading out, and then I will see you guys next week.
All right, for sure. Good seeing you, Kev.
All right, nice seeing you too. Good night, everyone.